What's up, guys? This is Michael Sean from Unison Games coming at you with a new video for Trainer on the Road. I am joined by my little sister Megan. What's up? We're driving back to Connecticut from Pennsylvania right now, and unfortunately it has nothing to do with the Pokemon trading card game, which is unfortunate. Speaking of things that are unfortunate, I listened to this dude on YouTube. He covers the Magic the Gathering trading card game, and pretty much all he does is complain about things that Wizards of the Coast are doing, and I sometimes appreciate that for entertainment value, so I thought we'd do a special episode of Trainer on the Road today, because honestly, I don't know when the next video is going to be. Just in case you've been hiding under a rock lately, the whole world is like shut down right now from the coronavirus, and that means that the Pokemon Company has a really serious problem on their hand, because they've had to cancel all of their competitive play events until like the end of May. I looked at their press release that they did on their website, and they shut down all sanctioned events, like period. From now, at the time we're listening to this, it's what, March 18th, right? March 18th? Yep. March 18th, so for the next 3 months basically, or 2.5 or whatever, they just shut down all Pokemon play events, which means like Unison Games, they are sanctioned events, so like those are all gone. But more importantly, premier events are shut down. So like I mentioned in my last video that I was getting ready for an expanded tournament that I was going to in Charlotte, North Carolina this weekend. Well, that's gone. They canceled this past weekend the Toronto regional, and they canceled all the regionals until then. So here's the deal, right? I figured I would just take a second and talk about how this could work, what this is going to mean for us as players, all that good stuff. So basically what's happening is they have a couple of options that are all horrible. The first option is to just make worlds like super tiny and only let the people that already have invites go. That wouldn't make any sense though, because basically that leaves like your regional champions, your special event champions. That's about it. And then maybe the top like 50 players in the United States, and maybe that would be the case in smaller numbers for the other countries, same number for places like Japan and Europe that have the same amount of highly competitive players as the United States does. So I only know like a handful of local players that already have their invite. Most of us don't. Now granted, most competitive players are not quite as far away from their invites as I am, but they're still far away from their invites, and it's definitely going to be tough to get that if we don't have any regionals happening. And the thing is we can't even, like, let's say maybe you only needed like 100 points, but like cups are all shut down too, and so are challenges, because straight up all sanctioned events are closed, not just your big regionals and stuff. So you can't even go to your LGS and participate in a smaller competitive play tournament to get those couple of points back to Worlds. So I don't think that they're going to have that be their solution. I don't think they're going to just have Worlds with just a few players. That just doesn't make sense. They won't make money that way, and therefore as a company that's for profit, they're not going to be doing that. So the other option is to make the few tournaments that are happening count for a higher championship points. And that's definitely an option, and I'm going to actually talk about the other two options like simultaneously. So that's one option. Its converse option would just be to lower the amount of points that you actually need to get to Worlds. Both of those would have the same effect, and that's this, that if we get like, let's say 3 or 4 events prior to Worlds, basically what's going to happen is you're going to have all the mediocre players not show up because like they have to get a top finish to make it to Worlds. Even if you lower and make it more valuable, you'll still have your mediocre players like me who have few amounts of points. Like, we would have to top 8 to get to Worlds, and it's just not going to happen. So like that would be bad. The other thing that you'll have is you'll have everybody that is like a more competitive player that's maybe halfway to their invite or 3/4 of the way to their invite or whatever. They're going to go and they're going to play the absolute hardest they can possibly play. These events are going to be probably some of the most well-attended events because people are going to travel further to get their Worlds invite. All this stuff is going to happen, And basically what that's going to make is only the best of the best are going to finish well enough to get their invite to Worlds. So basically it's just going to be hyper competitive. And that is troubling for a lot of people that might be trying to get to Worlds that haven't tried in the past, like me. Or even for people that, you know, can't make it to every tournament. Like, I can't just go to a tournament every weekend in May. My jobs won't allow me to do that. I need my weekends. So, like, it kind of looks a little bit grim for me as far as my trip to Worlds. And it's frustrating, but at the same time, we know that, like, the Pokemon company is just trying to do the best that they can to keep everybody safe and not sick, and make sure that they still have players that aren't dead so that they can still make money off of us. But also, like, I don't know, it just feels really bad. So I don't really know what the greatest answer to this issue is, but I do know that, I don't know, whatever answer they give is not going to be one that bodes well for a lot of us players that are newer or lower tier, and even mid tier, which is, you know, kind of sad. I think we're going to have more of an elite World Championships this year. But I don't know. I mean, maybe there won't even be a World Championships. I really don't know. The problem is, like, the situation is so volatile that, like, nobody knows how long it's going to last. So I'm going to definitely keep my eyes glued to the Pokemon website, so that I can see what the news coming out of it is. I hope you guys are doing that as well. Maybe I'll throw a link in the description to the Pokemon news channel. That way we can know what's going down. In the meantime, I personally, as somebody that runs an LGS, am trying to come up with some online alternatives to the issue of not being able to run sanctioned events. So I would definitely encourage everybody that's here to go ahead and, you know, if you haven't downloaded PTCGO, which is Pokemon Trading Card Game Online, if you haven't downloaded that already, get it downloaded, because even if you are planning on trying to still haul it to Worlds, you're going to have to sharpen your skills pretty decently, because you're going to have a highly competitive crowd. So definitely hit that up. And then if you're one of my players, or if you'd like to become one of my players, definitely check out Unison Games on Facebook and YouTube and Discord, because we're going to be coming up with hopefully some creative options to do in the light of this virus outbreak. Also, I did just throw some opening videos up, so go check those out. I'll put the links in the description. My first of the opening genre, so take a look at them. Got some good pulls, open some Sword and Shield products. So anyway, definitely make sure, you know, like, subscribe to this channel. Put a comment down, you know. Are you still trying to make it to Worlds? I think that's the big question. Are you still going to try to get enough points to go? I will say, flights to London are probably pretty cheap right now. The problem is I don't know if I'll be making it, so I won't be getting a ticket. But for those of you guys that got like 400 points or so, there's even a likelihood that 400 points will get you there. So maybe now's the time to book your flight. Anyway, definitely like, subscribe, leave a comment, share this video with anybody else that may want to have a gripe sesh. But anyway, Michael Sean with Unison Games. Check us out, Facebook, YouTube. I'll see you guys next time.